welcome to my channel. So today we are recapping episode 7 of A Just Like That, which is called Sex and the Widow. And I'm not sure why it's called that because the person who's having the most sex on the show, it's not even the widow, it's Miranda. So here we have a 3-month jump where it shows Carrie writing her memoir, and she has a meeting with her editor, and her editor says that she loves the book, but she thinks it's a bit depressing and not from the girl who wrote Sex and the City. And I thought that conversation was kind of funny because what the editor said about the book sounded a lot like a lot of people that are criticizing the show for not being too Sex and the City. So it was interesting how that conversation mirrored real life. We also see for the first time the 3 ladies as a foursome again when Seema joins them for drinks, and I thought it all felt very effortless. Seema really fit in. Charlotte and Harry go play tennis with Lisa and her husband, and you know Charlotte, very competitive, all she wants to do is win. If running over her husband means winning, she'll do it. Harry starts this whole argument about wanting Charlotte to apologize to him for knocking him down. And Charlotte says, no, I'm not going to apologize for playing good tennis. Okay, the one place that you don't really apologize is during sports, right? Because it's all very competitive. But here, they're playing on the same team. And I get what she was saying about us women apologizing for everything throughout our lives. But if she wanted to avoid that screaming argument on the streets, she should have just said, sorry, it was an accident, and move on. But they kept that fight of sorry, not sorry, up until the end of the episode. And then, when Charlotte cursed at Harry in the middle of the street, she said, you drive me fucking crazy. I was like, whoa, Charlotte. I think that's the first time I ever heard you cursed. Then we have Carrie going on her first date as a widow. She goes on a date with this teacher called Peter, who seems like a very lovely man. And when they left the restaurant, they were laughing out loud, and I was like, oh, great, they had a great time. And then the vomiting starts. I was like, oh no, they got food poisoning, which at the end of the episode is explained that it wasn't really food poisoning. They had too much to drink. Which I think is not out of the ordinary for 2 people who just lost their partners going on a first date to calm their nerves with alcohol. I just didn't understand why Carrie was so embarrassed and afraid to talk to Peter at the auction event, because at the date, they both puked. We have that awkward scene and kind of heartbreaking where Miranda tries to have sex with Steve in their kitchen. I think Steve was trying and he was into it. Now, Miranda's mistake was that she self-sabotaged. She was comparing Steve to Shay, and you know what they say about comparison? Comparison is the thief of joy. She was trying to recreate her sexcapade with Shay with Steve. She asked him, finger me, and she was placing his hands where Shay had their hands, and I was like, oh, Miranda, what are you doing? This is not gonna work. And I don't even think she tried, because she said, I'm gonna go get the lube, but she didn't. And when Steve says, oh, I'm gonna close the lids on their, takeout food, what, that put her off? When you've been married for that long, you have to try harder. And the fact that she doesn't even want to go to therapy anymore. There's one thing of going to therapy when you're in your 30s, recently married, there's been infidelity. And then there's another thing of going to therapy when you're in your 50s, been married for decades, there's other issues going on. I think Miranda just jumped the ship already. Put some effort into it, go to a nice dinner, go out for drinks, get a hotel room, not have sex in the kitchen around stinky takeout food, worrying that your son and his live-in girlfriend might be walking in. And then Miranda, laying in bed with Shay, naked after having mind-blowing sex, tells them, I'm in love with you. So she's not only cheating on her husband, she's in love with someone else? How? You only had sex with them in someone else's kitchen once. You didn't talk to them for 3 months and you're in love? And most of the time that you hung out, you were either high or drunk. Miranda, honey, you just having great sex. I've been there where you make decisions out of lust. There were times that I had amazing sex with someone and then I go home and I'm like, I'm so in love with him. No, Miranda, you were acting like a desperate 20-year-old girl. And by the way, going back to therapy and sex therapy are not the same. Miranda and Steve, they need sex therapy. And I felt even worse for him because he's so considering the fact that he washed his hands before touching her private parts. I was like, oh, Steve, you're the best. Gentlemen out there, before playtime, wash your hands. Then we have Nia talking to Miranda at a farmer's market saying that she had just got her period that morning. Basically means, she's not pregnant. And I was talking to a friend of mine and she thought it was weird that Nia told that to Miranda before telling her husband, especially because both women are not really close friends. They still have a student-professor relationship. And I told my friend, no, I disagree. I actually understand. I can't imagine the feelings a woman who's been through multiple rounds of IVF and can't get pregnant. For me, I would feel shame and disappointed. And I can only compare right now to, applying for a job that you really want, or applying to a college that you really, really want to get in, but you keep getting rejected. I hope Nia has a happy ending, baby or no baby. On next week's episode, we see that Miranda will finally have the talk with Steve. After 3 months of cheating and obsessing over Shay, I just hope she comes clean to Steve. Speaking of obsessed, the white dress that Carrie wore to the charity event had a boat neck, it was black and the dress was white. I want it. And then she had her hair pulled back in a bun. It looked so classy. I loved that look. Ladies out there, I would like to know, are you one of those that constantly apologizes for everything? I have that habit, actually. I always say, sorry to bother. Even on text message, when I'm texting someone, I was like, sorry to bother, but I had someone reply to me once saying, why do you think you were bothered? So do you think Charlotte should have said sorry from the get-go and just get it over with the argument? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, please make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the little bell, the notification button so you don't miss any future videos. And I'll see you next time.